Alright guys, sorry it took so long. For some reason it took about 4 weeks for everything to come. Usually they're pretty on point with their shipment and usually takes a week, but for some reason it took 4 weeks. So here's my review. So starting off, this is an 80-inch rack. You can also get a 93, but I went with the 80-inch. And the reason why I went with the 80-inch is because 93 will be too tall for me, because I'm only 5'6", and if I were to do pull-ups, I would need a box, but with the 80-inch, I don't need it, so it was good. But the downfall with the 80-inch is, as you can see, I purchased the plate holders and it came with 5 pairs, and as you can see, I'm only able to fit 4 pairs on the outside, and for the 5th one, I had to put it on the inside. For me, it didn't really matter much because I'm not gonna put anything on the inside. So if you guys do decide to purchase the 80-inch, just beware about that you will only be able to fit 4 on the outside. As for the shipment, everything came in pretty good condition, pristine condition. The only flaw was this right here, but for me, it didn't really much matter. I mean, you can paint it over, but for me, I just use it as the rack in the back, so it didn't much matter for me. The rack overall came within a week, but all of my other attachment, it took forever, so that's why it took me this long just to give you guys a review. Aside from the plate holders, I also ordered their cup holders. I went with the flat standard instead of the upper one, the round one. The reason why is because with the upper round J cup, there's an extra range in motion for when you do bench press, and for me, I didn't like that, so I went with the flat standard J cup. And for me, it works great. If you don't mind you're going back and forth like that, then it would be perfect. But if you do care about that, then I would recommend the round J cup for it. And then along with the J cup, I also ordered their safety bar, and I think it's one of the best safety bar I've ever owned. I put about 350 pounds on it so far, and it does not bounce or rattle at all. So I would highly recommend anyone that's looking for a safety bar to get one of rep. Alright guys, overall, the Polo half rack, I highly recommend anyone that doesn't have room or a lot of space to get this. My little brother, he has a Rogue half rack, and me personally, I prefer this over it, but everyone got their own, choice of what they like and what they prefer. But for me, I like this because even when I do pull-ups, the rack does not rattle, or even when I'm trying to push the rack, it does not move or rattle or shake at all. And with the bumper plates on, it doesn't budge at all. And with this rack, this is my 3rd rack I have ever owned. I owned a power rack before, and I didn't really like that, and I owned a squat rack, and squat rack, it's only mainly for squat, so it was a bad choice of mine. And then I went with this rack, and for me, this is probably the best choice I've ever made. If I were to do everything all over again, I would go with this rack, and I think it is well worth the money. I only used this rack for 3 days so far, so I won't be able to give you how I feel on it or how the rack is going. But so far, 3 days and putting a lot of weight on it, I gotta say this is probably the best rack I have ever owned. So if you guys would want to get more reviews later on, just comment down below and see what you guys want me to review on, and if you guys like it, please subscribe. Sorry, this isn't really professional or great as everyone else. This is my first video that I've ever done, so it's a little shaky, but it will get better later on, guys. Thank you.